My topic is subliminal marketing in detail explained, and let's go to the topic and let's go to the start. Subliminal marketing is a form of marketing that uses absolutely intentional messaging, sounds, or visuals to get a specific point across to those viewing the ad. The goal of subliminal marketing is to make your audience walk away from the ad with a specific message in their mind that they didn't consciously receive from the ad directly. Recently read this example from Saved by the Bell episode. Zach Morris used subliminal messaging on an audio recording to make his crush, Kelly Kapowski, want to partner with him for an upcoming dance. Zach adds his own voice in the background music for Kelly to listen to, hoping that she'll get the message. It's classic subliminal messaging. Is it sneaky? It can be. Is it subtle? For sure. But not all subliminal marketing is meant to be used for less than ideal circumstances, like Zach's antics. Much of it is simply to make consumers feel a specific way about the product or service being advertised. After all, it is a business's job to sell, and subliminal messaging is one way to do it amongst the many. Subliminal marketing uses words, images, or sounds in television, commercials, music, and digital media to boost sales of products and services. Subliminal messages may be embedded in an icon, image, or briefly flashed at an audience below the level of conscious awareness. The psychological and marketing research has confirmed that subliminal influence techniques do work in specific contexts. We've also learned it's important to evaluate the impact of subliminal marketing separately from the broad array of subconscious influence triggers. Subliminal marketing refers to the technique of using hidden or subtle messages in advertisements, images, or other forms of media that bypass conscious awareness but still affect the subconscious mind of the viewer. The goal of subliminal marketing is to influence consumer behavior and increase sales by leveraging unconscious desires, fears, and motivations. Some examples of subliminal messaging include embedded images, hidden sounds, and subtle color associations that are designed to trigger specific emotional responses in the audience without their conscious awareness. It is often controversial and unethical, as it can lead to unintended consequences and manipulation of the target audience. Subliminal marketing refers to the technique of using hidden or subtle messages in advertisements, images, or other forms of media that bypass conscious awareness but still affect the subconscious mind of the viewer. The goal of subliminal marketing is to influence consumer behavior and increase sales by leveraging unconscious desires, fears, and motivations. Some examples of subliminal messaging include embedded images, hidden sounds, and subtle color associations that are designed to trigger specific emotional responses in the audience without their conscious awareness. It is often controversial and unethical, as it can lead to unintended consequences and manipulation of the target audience. When we look at the nature of subliminal marketing, there is often confusion about whether subliminal marketing is the same as the subconscious. To clear this confusion, firstly, the answer is no. They are not the same. A message that has an influence on a person's subconscious is different from a subliminal one. The term subconscious is used to describe cognitive processing of stimuli that we are not consciously aware of but could become consciously aware of if we directed our attention to those stimuli. On the other hand, subliminally presented stimuli refer to those stimuli that are presented so quickly that we process them without our conscious knowledge and could not become aware of them, even if we directed our attention to their presentation. Both supraliminal and subliminal messages can have an influence on the subconscious mind. The only major difference is that supraliminal messages can have both conscious and subconscious influence, while subliminal messages can only have subconscious influence. Despite the controversies surrounding subliminal marketing, it has been utilized by many advertisers and marketers for decades. Some researchers suggest that it can be effective in influencing consumer behavior, while others argue that the effects are minimal or non-existent. However, the use of subliminal messaging in advertising has also raised concerns about the ethics of marketing tactics that attempt to manipulate individuals without their knowledge or consent. The use of subliminal messaging in advertising is regulated by law in some countries, and some ethical guidelines exist to protect consumers from being misled or exploited. However, it can be challenging to detect subliminal messages, making it difficult to regulate effectively. As a result, it is important for consumers to be aware of its potential effects and to remain vigilant in evaluating the messages they are exposed to in advertising and other media. In conclusion, the use of subliminal messaging in advertising remains a controversial topic, with researchers and stakeholders holding differing views on its effectiveness, ethics, and regulation. While it may have some impact on consumer behavior, it is essential to balance the potential benefits with the risks of employing such tactics without transparency or consent. Ultimately, consumers should be empowered to make informed choices based on accurate information and free from covert attempts to influence their decisions. Regulators may need to establish clear guidelines and standards around the use of subliminal messaging in advertising to protect consumers and ensure ethical practices in the industry. Furthermore, advertisers should prioritize building trust and transparency with their audience, rather than relying on covert tactics to create an illusion of demand or increase sales. In this way, businesses can build a loyal customer base based on genuine value and quality, rather than deceptive marketing practices. Ultimately, the responsible and ethical use of advertising is vital in promoting a fair and equitable marketplace for all. Subaudible messaging. Subaudible messages get inserted into other audio, like a song or an interview recording. These messages are usually much lower volume than the primary audio, making them subtle yet still there. Although the volume of these messages is too low to consciously hear, the listener's brain will likely still store them in their subconscious memory, allowing them to pull from that information. Subvisual messaging. One of the more common types of subliminal messaging is subvisual messaging, which happens in TV, print, and other visual advertisements. This form of messaging shows subtle visual cues to viewers, like a hidden message within a logo or a small image tucked away within another image. Again, they're usually so small or quick that you don't realize you see them, but your brain still stores them. The only way you would be able to perceive them is if you could pause the video at that exact moment when the message flashes on the screen. Talking about subvisual messaging and subliminal marketing, here is another kind of marketing blowing up in the industry: video marketing and YouTube marketing. Backmasking. Backmasking is used in audio recordings. It features a voice recording played backward on a track or recording that plays forward. Some believe that these backward recordings give listeners subliminal messaging that their brains try to decode. The only way they can hear the message is if they reverse the audio recording. How does subliminal marketing work? Subliminal messaging is the driving force behind subliminal advertising. Essentially, these messages are used in media, be that TV commercials, online advertising, or songs, as just a few examples. The messaging is designed to elevate the persuasiveness of the advertisement, or it can even convey a completely different message altogether. Talking about advertising, you might want to learn about native advertising, a much intriguing topic in advertising. Even if you are told that an advert is using subliminal messaging tactics, it is not usually possible for a person to discover what the hidden message is. The core reason for this is that true subliminal messages are below the threshold of our conscious perception. The perception of, and the reaction to subliminal messaging all take place at the subconscious level. Just as we breathe in and out without even giving it a moment's thought, our subconscious mind is always working away in the background. Subliminal marketing is only ever intended to appeal to our subconscious mind by using external stimuli in order to trigger reactions. In conclusion, the use of subliminal messaging in advertising remains a controversial topic, with researchers and stakeholders holding differing views on its effectiveness, ethics, and regulation. While it may have some impact on consumer behavior, it is essential to balance the potential benefits with the risks of employing such tactics without transparency or consent. Ultimately, consumers should be empowered to make informed choices based on accurate information and free from covert attempts to influence their decisions. As an AI language model, I do not have personal views or experiences. However, I agree that there should be clear guidelines and standards around the use of subliminal messaging in advertising to protect consumers and ensure ethical practices in the industry. Advertisers need to adopt transparent methods to build trust with their audience without resorting to covert tactics that can harm them in the long run. This will promote a fair and equitable marketplace for all. Additionally, it is important to recognize that consumers have the right to make informed decisions about the products they purchase. Subliminal messaging can potentially manipulate or deceive consumers, which goes against the principles of fair competition and consumer protection. Therefore, any use of subliminal messaging in advertising should be carefully regulated and monitored to prevent potential harm. Overall, I believe that transparency and ethical practices should always be a priority in advertising, and subliminal messaging should not be used as a shortcut to achieve advertising goals. If so many companies, big or small, are using subliminal marketing, There has to be some major benefits that you are probably missing out on. Let's look at these benefits. Engages the audience. This is the benefit that all types of marketing look for: engagement. With subliminal marketing, you enjoy maximum engagement from your audience. Considering subliminal marketing controls a part of psychology, such a thing generates a spark of emotion. It can get a few advertisers in trouble, depending upon the laws of the region, but marketers may use it for a greater sale rate. Above all, subliminal marketing can help marketers save a penny. With such a low cost and requirement or single exposure alone, the height of the sales reaches the target. You might have unknowingly come across a subliminal ad through music, specific product appearance, tradition, and local brand. Have you ever noticed slow-running music with a light tune being played in a shopping mall? If so, there's a reason for it. In an environment surrounded by such tunes, people naturally like it and are more likely to get slow shopping for what they need, which then ends up in them buying more items. The same kind of technique is used in nightclubs, whereby loud and energetic music plays a key role in making people be more involved in the environment. The louder the music, the livelier it becomes to dance, and therefore, it generates more sales of drinks. Increased sales. Attractive products attract more buyers, which is why perfume products that are meant for ladies are elegantly designed in a particular shape and size to look cute. Not only perfume bottles but overall, every cosmetic product is marketed in elegance. Doing so attracts the females even more than what the actual product does. Likewise, brands know that most guys prefer masculinity, which influences the fact that skincare products come in a straight, cylindrical container. In simple words, the appearance can boost sales. From the color itself, the consumer group can guess the product. Cost efficient. When only one exposure is bound to grow up sales figures, marketers have a forever liking for crafting subliminal communication. It does not hit the marketing budget and requires minimum spending. Besides quicker sales gains, it has long-term returns in terms of the brand proposition, values, and ideals. Instant stimulator. Companies wouldn't simply add a thing to their brand for no reason. They know even a slight mistake and a slight clever move can change the entire dynamics. The first reason why you can say subliminal marketing is important is that it is an instant stimulator. That is, subliminal messages are least concerned about the perks and disadvantages. Often, people would purchase items without a second thought, having been directed by the unconscious mind. A subliminal message directly commands people that they need the item, and they have to have it. Instead, advertisers should rely on clear messaging, accurate information, and effective communication to reach their target audiences. This not only helps to build trust and credibility with consumers, but also supports healthy competition and fosters a more reliable marketplace. Ultimately, businesses that prioritize transparency and ethical practices in their advertising efforts are more likely to achieve long-term success and build strong relationships with their customers. Increases brand recalls. Subliminal marketing also comes with the power of making the consumer group remember you for a longer time. Because obviously, the subliminal message is going to be unique, the viewer's brain will have a short memory of it stored in themselves. The more iconic the message is, the longer will people be able to keep recalling the brand. Following encounters of the brand by the viewers will make them more curious, searching for their products and wanting to try them out. Instantly, the brand value comes up in their mind, and all the credit goes to subliminal advertising. To ace your marketing, you might want to look at 9 important marketing KPIs. It is also important for advertisers to ensure that their advertising efforts align with their brand values and beliefs. Consumers today are increasingly conscious of the impact their purchases have on the world, and they want to support businesses that share their values. Advertisers should take the time to understand their target audience's values and find ways to incorporate them into their advertising messaging. In addition, advertisers should be mindful of the potential negative impact that their advertising could have on certain groups, such as children or vulnerable populations. Advertisements targeted at children should be age-appropriate and not encourage harmful behaviors or stereotypes. Overall, by prioritizing transparency, ethical practices, and aligning with brand values, advertisers can build trust with their target audience, create a more reliable marketplace, and ultimately achieve long-term success. More conversions. All of these mental activities are done with the least exposure, but maximum gain is achieved. Studies show how the public has to be exposed to a brand at least 3 times for them to realize its existence, while subliminal marketing cuts down the number to only 1. Only a simple subliminal message is enough for people to turn to you, all while you can enjoy the sales boost through minimum efforts. Through subliminal advertising, marketers practically control every psychological aspect of consumers. Such messages touch the soft corner of every individual. It, therefore, enables marketers to manage the emotions of the people and take them anywhere they feel like. What can also help to connect with your consumers is psychographic marketing. Subliminal marketing. Due to the complexity of the human mind, it has various levels of consciousness. Be it the state of dreaming, conscious rational, and lastly, the subconscious level. This last level is one that is not able to function through logic or reasoning abilities and cannot differentiate between what is real and what is fictional. Subliminal messages sent into the subconscious mind give it the foundation to grow the message into reality. It is a form of thought controlling, as there is a link of communication between the subconscious and the conscious mind, allowing them to affect each other. It is also important for advertisers to ensure that their advertising efforts align with their brand values and beliefs. Consumers today are increasingly conscious of the impact their purchases have on the world, and they want to support businesses that share their values. Advertisers should take the time to understand their target audience's values and find ways to incorporate them into their advertising messaging. In addition, advertisers should be mindful of the potential negative impact that their advertising could have on certain groups, such as children or vulnerable populations. Advertisements targeted at children should be age-appropriate and not encourage harmful behaviors or stereotypes. Overall, by prioritizing transparency, ethical practices, and aligning with brand values, advertisers can build trust with their target audience, create a more reliable marketplace, and ultimately achieve long-term success. Hence, there is much controversy surrounding the use of these subliminal messages, as hidden persuasive messages have been used to influence audiences. Such incidents are commonly found in commercials and advertising, and in rock music. There has been much criticism on the use of insidious subliminal messages to maximize revenue. Thank you for watching the video and subscribe the channel.